We have breaking news tonight from MS Now's Carol Lenigan-Kendalanian with the reporting about the panicked paranoia and desperation of Donald Trump's FBI Director Kashyap Patel. Quote, FBI Director Kash Patel ordered the polygraphing of more than 24 former and current members of his security detail, as well as other staff, and has been described as being in panic mode to save his job and find leakers among his team, according to two people briefed on the development. This comes a day after The Atlantic, which is being sued by Kashyap Patel for previous reporting about him, reported that Patel, quote, has given out bottles of his personalized whiskey to FBI staff as well as civilians he encounters in his duties, according to 8 people. Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor of The Atlantic, published a note today about Kashyap Patel's lawsuit against The Atlantic, saying that nothing will deter us from our work. And while he was at it, he included a picture of the FBI director's personalized bourbon bottle that The Atlantic managed to buy from someone who said Patel gave it to him at an event in Las Vegas. The FBI responded to The Atlantic. Senior bureau officials have long exchanged commemorative items in formal gift settings consistent with ethics rules. Director Patel has followed all applicable ethical guidelines and pays for any personal gift himself. Joining us now is Andrew Weissmann, former FBI general counsel and an MS Now legal analyst. And Andrew, so the FBI people clearly not denying one word about the Patel bourbon that is carried by the caseload on his plane, just saying everybody does it.
Yes, not only they're not denying it, they're admitting it. And so what we have here is an FBI director who does not, to put it bluntly, understand the nature of his responsibilities to the public. The idea that you would polygraph people because they are saying truthful information about your conduct is not something that is a secret, that it should be kept from the public who you serve. It's not like there's an sort of polygraphing because the leaks are about an ongoing criminal or national security investigation. That's not what we're talking about. That would be a legitimate use of the polygraph. But here we're talking about something that the public has a right to know because the FBI director works for the public, not vice versa. And so this is really a sign of just a fundamental misunderstanding about his role in connection with running the Bureau and what he owes the public. And the idea that this is something that's going on at the FBI, I mean, it is so sickening to me, having worked there, that everybody at the FBI, the men, the women, and the agents, the analysts, the staff, all deserve better, and the public deserves better.
How drunk should an FBI director be? How often? What is the standard? What are the odds of the FBI director getting a call in the middle of the night where you'd really want the director to be sober?
So that's what you call a softball question. And the idea that you have the FBI saying everybody did this. Could you imagine Robert Mueller? This is a man who is famous for never at any speech ever wanting to talk about himself. You always had to take out the word I or me from a speech because he didn't want to do that. There are very, very strict rules at the FBI about alcohol consumption. For one thing, the agents are armed. And so obviously you can't have any alcohol in that situation. But of course, you are completely aware that you may have to respond to a national security crisis at any moment, and so there is just no alcohol whatsoever. And that's leaving aside the idea that you would actually use the FBI insignia for personal use as a token to give to people. That's something that, obviously is not something that everyone does. That is not something that Chris Wray or Louis Freeh or Robert Mueller would engage in any circumstances.
So the reporting indicates that Patel is in his office and he won't speak to all sorts of people at the highest levels working in the FBI because he's afraid of which one of them might be informers on him. But if Patel is completely incompetent, isn't it better that he's just locked alone in his office, not talking to anyone?
Okay, so that is an interesting question because here's the way I answer that. Having seen the way that an FBI director needs to function, having a leader of an organization in a crisis is critical. Yes, of course, having somebody who's completely incompetent and if the reporting is correct, and also inebriated is obviously somebody who you do not want there. But again, we are owed more. I really can't stress, having been in that, been the general counsel, how important it is to have senior, experienced people with judgment and the ability to sift through facts, to be able to call the shots about what needs to be done. We're not talking about minor issues here. We're talking about the safety of America against the most heinous and hideous and potentially devastating crimes.
Andrew Weissmann, thank you very much for joining us tonight with your invaluable expertise in this issue. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.